welcome to part 4, episode 18 of Top Rope Reality. And let's get started with some good TNA news.
TNA News. Rhino the War Machine, Gore, has returned to TNA. And the news is that he will be back all the way through to Bound for Glory.
He must be a cheap wrestler.
Apparently,
they have no money.
They apparently have no money.
How can you afford to bring wrestlers in?
Right? And also, Gail Kim defeated Angelina Love and became the new Knockouts champion. Angelina Love did not have that belt very long. Very interesting.
So we have a new Knockouts champion. We have a new Divas champion.
That's correct. When does that happen last?
And we have a new World's champion.
Weird.
And we have a new... We'll have a new Intercontinental champion.
That's true.
And we're going to have a new X Division champion. So...
Yes. So, apparently Samuel Shaw, who was in the psychiatric ward, is out.
Yes.
Okay. Gunner says he's the person who got him out and he's helping him. So now Shaw, he's now face and he wants Shaw to go make amends with everybody. Apparently he went and talked to Ken Anderson and apologized. Not Maria. Christy Hemme.
Oh, sorry.
This is not Ring of Honor.
No. Christy Hemme.
Woo! Somewhere Maria, she is really upset right now. Because you just called her.
I forgot about Christy Hemme. That's for us. She really leaves the mark, don't she?
Woo! That's horrible. She's in the... You remember TNA is saved because of her.
Yeah, she's right.
TNA is saved.
TNA is saved because she's on the writing crew.
It's horrible.
Sorry, Maria.
She's upset.
Christy Hemme is a nobody, so you don't remember her.
But don't call her Maria. And John R's probably upset right now, too. Jeez. We apologize.
John R's filming a movie. He ain't worried about us. But, sorry.
That's awesome.
Sorry, Maria. I would get on my hands and knees, but it's very hard to do that right now.
It is.
But it doesn't make a damn difference.
It's very weird.
Shaw is still bad, and I think Gunner will probably be bad.
He just turned face. He was against James Storm. They had this whole long feud. Now he got Samuel Shaw out, and they're probably just going to run rampant over TNA.
Two nutsies.
Two crazy folks. And apparently Anderson and Hemme are both skeptical about the whole thing, but you made a good point. Once both of them have trusted Shaw and Gunner's intentions, that's when Gunner and Shaw will turn on him.
Yeah.
It's
Anderson will finally get beat down, and then Christy Hemme will be taken by the Nut Boys.
By the Nut Boys. All right, and so Global Force Wrestling news. But before we get to that, I almost forgot. Big news. I posted it on our website, on our Facebook page. It's official. Petey Williams has announced his retirement. As we're filming this right now, tonight, in Michigan, he is having his final match.
July the 5th.
Yes, July the 5th, taking on his old training partner, Chris Sabin. They came up at the same time, and that's the way he's going to go out. So one last Canadian destroyer.
Yeah.
So it's sad news. I don't know why he's retiring. There's no news of if he's, got some kind of nagging injury or if he just wants to move on from the wrestling business. I don't know what the details are, but it's official. Petey Williams is retiring. But if it's any indication what Loki did, maybe Petey Williams is going back to TNA. Loki, if you don't know, announces he was wrestling in Japan or wherever it was,
right?
And he announced his retirement, and now all of a sudden he's in TNA and he's a backstage agent for the X Division matches, and he's one of the X Division stars. It makes me want to scratch my head. I'm so confused.
It is confusing.
It's very confusing, but nonetheless, Petey Williams is retiring, and we'll see what happens from there. Global Force Wrestling.
Yes. They're getting closer.
They are getting closer, but apparently Jeff Jarrett's Global Force Wrestling had early plans to use the six-sided ring.
Should be interesting.
It was originally Jarrett's idea when he was in TNA.
Oh, yes.
But apparently there are workers in TNA who believe one of the main reasons why TNA has decided to bring this six-sided ring back was to beat Jarrett to the punch.
Are you surprised?
So to say.
Are you surprised by that?
No.
I'm not surprised by that.
No.
But
a lot of the wrestlers in TNA are not a fan of having to use a six-sided ring.
They're not. And Jarrett, I know Jarrett did it, but he doesn't need to use it. He needs to go back to traditional four-side, traditional ring.
Right. And then
it don't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter about the ring. It matters about what happens
in the ring.
On the shows, in the ring. But people are used to 4 sides, not 6 sides.
Right.
Unless you want to see an MMA fight. Which if Dixie Carter keeps going, that's how she's going to have the MMA fighters.
Yes, that's how she's going to get. Also, in related Global Force Wrestling news, sources working on, apparently this is what sources are saying, that there are plans for the new promotion revealed this week, that they are in the middle of TNA TV negotiations.
I think it's CMT.
It is a little strong. I don't know what you got in that drink.
I don't know. My eyes are watering now. I'm crying over them almost getting a TV deal.
You're probably crying because you messed up Christy Hemmy's name. No other details are known at this time.
No, I'm crying because I called Maria Christy Hemmy. No, but I hope they get a good TV deal. I hope it's not like Ring of Honor, which some people get, some people don't. That kills them. They need a national TV. Ring of Honor needs a national TV deal.
That's great. Sinclair Broadcasting came into it, but you know what? At the same time, if you want your people to be known, you want people around the world to know who they are, get on national television. Also, you didn't put this in our notes, but there is news that Ring of Honor is about to lose their IPPV provider.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Which is Ustream. Ustream
is doing away with all IPPV.
Exactly. It's not just because of Ring of Honor doing their very first pay-per-view. It's all IPPV, which means, you know, we won't be able to see New Japan and a lot of these other ones that do internet pay-per-views. Yes. So that's going to be interesting on why Ustream has decided to do that. There's been Ustream hasn't made an official announcement of why they've decided to cut it out. But that'll be interesting for Ring of Honor. Hopefully they can secure normal, regular pay-per-views.
I think they can. I think WWE doing what they're doing with the network, I believe that's going to help Ring of Honor.
It probably will.
But they don't need to go overboard.
They don't.
No.
I would say start out with maybe 4 in a year, making them a huge deal. And then if those are successful, go to 6.
Yes.
And just leave it like that for a little while. Because you don't want to be like TNA and do 12 and then backtrack. Less is more.
Yeah.
Okay. Less is more. Start out with
backtrack. That doesn't help when you.
It doesn't. It makes you look
I'm
like
a big man. Oh, I got to go back.
It makes you look like you're tucking your tail and you're running when you go back.
But you got to remember when
if you go to Mondays and go back to Thursdays.
They did it for the fans. Why couldn't you get it to your head?
No,
That's what
they did it because they were defeated.
They said the fans voted and wanted them to back on Thursday.
They got like a 0.1. Okay. Okay.
Well, you talk about TNA fans not wanting them on Thursday.
Sad.
It's not because they couldn't beat WWE on Mondays.
Right.
It's because of the fans. The fans are number one for TNA.
And you know what? If I read this correctly,
that's why they're going to do Bound for Glory in Japan, because the fans want them in Japan.
And you know,
and they want to watch a pay-per-view.
That's the funny thing. It's going to be taped for the U.S. It's not even going to be live, because if they did it live, it'd be like 2 o'clock in the morning Japan time. If they did it live for us, not going to work, buddy.
No.
Everybody gonna be asleep. Okay, that's not gonna work. But also, if I read this correctly, this is supposedly from an interview that Bully Ray did when he was talking about the New York City tapings, trying to build those up, which they did quite well when it came to the amount of fans they had there. I will say that they did great with that. Okay, the third show they had was apparently sold out, so that's pretty good. So all I know is I read that Bully Ray.
If you're a national promotion, you can't sell 100 seats. You're in trouble.
True. It's a little more than 100, but
okay,
anyway, it's still hard.
Sorry.
Still ridiculous. But anyway,
no more TNA bashing.
From what I read, Bully Ray said that he was talking. I guess the guy asked him if he'd go back to WWE, and he said, in I'm not quoting him, but basically he said yes, he would.
Wow, that's very surprising.
He said if Vince came calling, he would go back.
That's very surprising.
That's what I read. Kurt Angle talking about wanting to finish up in WWE. Bully Ray's talking about going back.
Kurt Angle was on a WWE plane.
It was a regular plane. And
it was a regular plane?
It was just a normal plane. Okay. The production workers were on it. It wasn't a WWE jet.
Okay.
It was a regular plane that he got.
That's funny though.
Well, the wrestlers weren't on it. It was production workers were on the plane. And they took a picture of him passed out. He might have just been asleep. They may be thinking...
Just go back history, though.
They're making it look like he passed out because he was drunk. But there's no indication that he was actually drunk.
No.
But the pictures that they took were going around WWE, which was pretty funny.
It is pretty
funny. If Bully Ray, if Vince was smart, he'd give him the call. But I also read somewhere else where Bully said that if Bully Ray can't be the Bully Ray character that he has basically portrayed here recently, that he's really brought into his own, then he won't do it. I've also read that because, and here's the thing, I get what he's saying, because if he goes to PG and Bully Ray can't be Bully Ray, then there's no point in Bully Ray coming. It'll be a watered down Bully Ray, and it won't be as good. Because if they treated Bully Ray the way he needs to be treated, Bully Ray could get a good feud with a heel Bully Ray taking on a John Cena.
Well, I don't care which one it is. I really don't care if he comes or goes. So, that's it for part 4.
It is.
That's it for part 4, folks. Join us next week for our episode 19.
One step closer
to 20.
That's
our
right.
big one. And happy 4th of July to everybody out there in YouTube land.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week right here on Top Rope Reality on YouTube.